Hello my friend and welcome back to the channel. Today we're checking out ReBeat from Wave Machine Labs, a cutting-edge drum separation plugin that allows you to process individual kit pieces like never before. ReBeat is an AI-powered drum separation tool that analyzes a full drum recording and breaks it down into individual kit pieces. Kick, snare, toms, cymbals, it gives you control over each element. This means you can process each drum separately in a mixed track, adjust timing and dynamics without over-editing, reduce bleed without losing realism, and enhance or replace drum sounds whilst keeping the original feel. Unlike a drum replacement plugin, ReBeat doesn't just swap out sounds. It lets you reshape and refine your performance whilst keeping it natural.
One of the biggest headaches in drum mixing is bleed on the snare mic, especially from hi-hats. Too much bleed can make processing a real nightmare, but gating it out can kill the natural feel. So here's our snare track before using ReBeat. So plenty of hats bleed. We've also got a little bit of kick bleed, and right in the background we've also got some of the band as well because this was all recorded live. An absolute processing nightmare. So let's let ReBeat do its thing. So now we've got our unwanted kick bleed here. We've got our unwanted hi-hat bleed here. And if we solo out the snare, we've now got a snare track with no bleed. If you then want to take your processing to the next level, within ReBeat you've also got access to a gate and a transient shaper. And on the kick and the snare you've also got access to Drumagog for the sample replacement. Which is very handy indeed. Super easy to use. You've got a whole lot of very usable samples within ReBeat, just as you do within Drumagog. You can adjust the sensitivity to the snare and blend it in to taste. Let's just take a listen. So this sample's at a 100%, so I'm going to just blend it in. Now for A-Bing, I'm going to bring in the kick as well because this was such a troubled recording. On the kick, I'm using another of Wave Machine Labs' plugins, Drumagog 5, to save the day. Let's just take a listen to what we got from those two mics. Yipes. And now with ReBeat on my snare and Drumagog on the kick. So much cleaner. The hi-hat and all the bleed is no longer overpowering those mics, and a reminder of what that snare mic sounded like originally. But of course, what if all you have is a stereo drum recording? I've got one just here which I downloaded from Freesounds. That sounds great, but I may well want more control over timing and dynamics and mixing the overall kit. And for that, I'd love to have all of these kit pieces on individual tracks. So I've already loaded this into ReBeat. And if we go through the key kit pieces, you can see now the kick is on its own track, as is the snare. I've got the ride. And I've also got the crash at the start of the loop here too. Now to grab these stems from within ReBeat, it really couldn't be simpler. They've made this super easy. Just click on the cog just down here and show stems. And here they all are. I'm just going to literally grab them and drag them into my project. Let's just mute out ReBeat. And now we've got each individual track as a stem within our project. This is insanely useful for remixing, balancing levels, adding effects, just being able to control and work within those individual tracks rather than having to just balance a stereo recording.
So is ReBeat worth it? Well, if you work with live drums a lot, I think this plugin could be incredibly helpful for you. It saves time, gives you full mix control, and helps you fix timing, dynamics, and bleed issues without over-processing. My only real gripe with it was some of the time that it took to process some of those smaller clips that I worked on in this video. Took maybe a minute or two, so I'd imagine if you're working with a whole song, it certainly takes a good few minutes for it to process through the engine. Currently, the core version, which just features the drum track extraction, is at $99, whilst the pro version with all the bells and whistles that I use in this video is at $199. Both of those versions will be compatible with your DAW, but they also both come with a standalone option too. For me personally, this is an incredibly useful tool. I can think of many instances in the past where I would have been reaching for this plugin, so I'm super pleased to have it right now and for projects in the future. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments box below. I'd love to hear from you whilst you're there. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you enjoyed this video today, definitely want to check this next one out.